Hello. I
Are we
s-
ready, Prometheus?
yes, I just started the recording, so we are ready to kick it off.
Awesome. Welcome, everybody, to the very first Aephia Station radio show slash chat. Let's, yeah, whatever we want to call it. My name is Funcracker. I will give a very short introduction of myself and then hand it over to Prometheus. I am in real life an IT developer, but more importantly, an MMO enthusiast, gamer since forever. I'm relatively new to crypto, only actually started with that this year and got into the whole shebang due to Axie Infinity, which is probably a game most of you will be familiar with. I led several guilds, mostly World of Warcraft, which I've played for years, also some mostly mobile games. Yeah, and I'm one of the, let's say, co-founders of Aephia Industries.
Hey guys, and I'm Prometheus. In real life, I work in mainstream finance, but really want to switch to working in crypto finance. But we'll see how that goes. Um, also played a lot of games in my life, um, and am really excited about Star Atlas. It seems to be like a dream come true game. So we'll just hope and help that dream to happen. I'm another co-creator of Aephia Industries, and we'll, we are really excited about this community that we are creating, and we have big plans in front of us.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. So let me very quickly run down a few, yeah, how do you call these things? I would say house rules. No, not house rules. Well, just a short list of important stuff. Um, so the Aephia Station is a show that we will host at the moment at pretty irregular intervals during the summer period, but hopefully more regularly at some point thereafter. This will be a show that is meant for everybody who is a Star Atlas enthusiast. We will host it for the time being, at the very least, on our own Discord, but everybody is welcome and everything is in our public channel. Um, our mission is a little bit to expand on we are as Aephia Industries and what we do, but mostly, really, it's important for us to just discuss the game, the metaverse, what's happening. Hopefully, have some cool guests on stage. You can already see one. I will introduce him shortly. Um, and yeah, just really get a discussion going, and we hope you will join in. To that end, you can raise your hand if you have a question related to the topic currently being discussed. Occasionally, we might ask if anybody has a question, but in general, you can really just raise your hand whenever you feel like it, as long as it pertains to the topic at hand. Yeah, so we have no fixed moments reserved for any question asking stuff. So just really jump into where you want. If for some reason you don't have a mic or you don't like to, uh, well, use it, you can always type in your questions in the general question in the Atlassian's public section. Since we are also busy doing the show, we might not always look there, however, so but we'll try. We'll try to every now and then switch to the channel and see if there's a question over there we can reply to.
Great. So today we are joined by Santiago, who's a community lead for Star Atlas. If you're interacting with or follow Star Atlas on any of the community channels like Discord, Telegram, Twitter, you probably you probably saw him already in those channels. But if you didn't, he's a man, and he's right here. We'll be interviewing him after some short introduction to what Aephia Industries is.
Thank you for the introduction, Prom. Well, first thing first, thank you for inviting me to the first ever Aephia station. It's a true honor for me to be here and really looking forward to what you guys do with this guild.
Thanks very much, man. That's much appreciated. Yeah, we're also pretty curious now. That's just joking. We have been planning that for this. Yeah, actually, we've been planning. So let's actually head into a little bit of agenda first before I head off talking about our organization. So the agenda for today is very briefly talk about Aephia Industries, but we'll keep it very short. Um, then, of course, you'll have an interview section with Santi, and again, everybody is welcome to raise their hand and join into that. We have a few questions, but we hope you have a few more. And then, probably for the largest part of this show, we'll just talk about Star Atlas and everything that's happening, everything that happened. A few things that are also relevant to our corporation. But yeah, that's mostly what we want the show to be about. So just to get back to what you mentioned, something we actually launched our corporation last week, actually literally a week ago on the Sunday, and now we have this show. It was a lot to prepare, but we really want to be in a very active corporation or organization, and also contribute to the space the way we can. And since Prometheus and myself are pretty active in the community, and we've been here for quite some time, actually Prometheus is of course the very first victor of the Atlassian show that Santi is hosting, which we'll also get to during the interview. But it just goes to show that he knows a lot. And that's a very good thing, because that also means we can share a lot, hopefully, with you, perhaps bits and pieces you missed, or just some insights that we have and like to share with you.
Just to explain the setup a little bit, probably on or expand on what Van Krekker was just saying. We are planning actually two sets of shows. One is public, called the Aephia Station, where it will be open to everyone, and we'll go into topics that are of interest to the whole Star Atlas community. It can be recent news announcements or deep dives maybe in some papers, but it's something that we hope will be helpful to everyone in the community. And second is something that we call Aephia meetings. So those will be just corp only, more of strategy sessions, where we'll strategize on optimal resource allocation and dive into specific mechanics or anything else really of interest to the members.
Yes, so a little bit about Aephia Industries, and I will keep it very short, trust me. Thank you all for joining us on our Discord server, by the way. We are one of the latest DACs to be to have opened up to the public, and we care mostly, or we actually created our corporation around shipbuilding and ship sales and everything that has to do with creating and constructing ships. I think this has been clear from our recruitment message. But I want to emphasize that besides shipbuilding, and we'll talk a bit more about shipbuilding in our game mechanics section later on, but we also plan to do everything that has actually that comes close more horizontally towards gas supply, gas stations, doing repairs with the repair ships that Star Atlas offers. So we want to be full service. We're going to construct the ships, we're going to sell the ships, but we also supply services surrounding using the ships and making sure your ships are in a tip-top shape. So yeah, that is all I am going to say about Aephia at this point in time, except for the fact that, of course, you are both welcome to linger around, ask questions about our corporation in the general channel, and if you feel like it, join us, of course, via our welcome channel. Okay, that is the only ad and promotional part of this show, I promise. So more next time. Let's now move our focus to our guest, to Santi. Prometheus, I'll leave the honors to you for the first question.
Thank you. So Santi, again, welcome here on the stage. And I want to kick it off with the following question. So can you tell us a little bit how you learned about Star Atlas, how you got involved in the project, included, of course, how you ended up in your current role.
Okay. Let's do it. First, again, thank you guys for inviting me, and thank you for everything that you're doing for the Star Atlas community and all the help you bring to us, to the community. And yeah, thank you really. I have no more words to say. Like you are doing a great job. You earned, both of you earned an Armstrong poster. So keep it like you're doing. You're doing great. Thank you very much. And
Yeah,
regarding to the
and thank
question,
you for that poster, Santi.
Yes, thank you.
okay, no problem, no problem. You really deserve it. And regarding to the question, it's a good one. I got into Star Atlas when I was searching for my perfect niche. I got into crypto, like I got to know crypto some years ago, but I went full time into crypto in 2019. I started buying Bitcoin and Ethereum, like the classic introduction to crypto. And I got like the bull market. So I was really happy and I said, well, let's switch all hands to crypto and search for a thing that I could do inside crypto that really matches what I like. So I started searching for jobs and saw Star Atlas. And so I am a lifelong gamer. Like since I was born, I remember to be playing with the Sega. I don't know if you guys know the Sega or Sega. I don't know the pronunciation, but I was playing like Mario Kart and all these games when I started.
Wait. Hold on. You said you had a Sega, but you were playing Mario Kart. Now, I had a Sega as well, and I'm pretty sure Mario Kart was from the competition.
Yeah. I was playing Mario Kart like an example, but in Sega I was playing, for example, like this delivery boy of diaries. I don't know if you got like paper delivery boy, and also like a Pink Panther game. I was really little, so I try to remember. I remember it like a good experience, and also yeah, playing Mario Kart with my friends. I don't remember in what exact like console I was playing Mario Kart, but I remember that it was like at the same time. Not Mario Kart, sorry, like Mario, like
Oh, Super
the like
Mario.
sorry.
Super Mario.
Yes. I was playing that, and yeah. So
I can.
those were
I.
I'm
my
pretty
first
sure
days
it's not
in gaming.
Sega property either.
Yeah. I don't really remember where I played Mario Kart, but well, let's jump into another thing. Like it
Played it.
was like an example. Don't kill me for this, guys. And yeah, so I started playing Sega, and then I bought my PlayStation 2, and I got into like first-person shooter games like Call of Duty, and I got like all hands into Call of Duty, like from Call of Duty 2 and Call of Duty 3 on PlayStation 2 until like this Modern Warfare, the last one. I played Call of Duty like my whole life. So I'm a lifelong gamer. That's the description. And I found Star Atlas in Pump Crypto Jobs exactly, and did some research. And when I every day I research a little bit more, and I got more crazy about the idea of Star Atlas. So I said, yeah, I really want to contribute to this game. At that moment, I was working for a newsletter in Spanish. It was called El Token newsletter, and it was like a newsletter with crypto news like every Sunday for people. And I was doing all the community stuff. So I decided to jump into Star Atlas like a more serious project and something that I really like better.
Okay, so just as a short follow-up, so do you consider yourself primarily crypto nerd, let's say, or a gamer when you approach Star Atlas?
Hmm, that's a good question. So I really, when I got into crypto, I went all hands into crypto. Like when you get into crypto, you start thinking crypto like from when you wake up to when you go to sleep. So I kinda am like a crypto nerd, but I'm more a gamer. Like I'm a lifelong gamer, and yeah, I was more into crypto at that time because I stopped playing Modern Warfare and got like I said full hands into crypto. But yeah, I consider myself a gamer first and then a crypto enthusiast. Yes.
So
I
just
have to say, I have to say actually, I quickly checked that post delivery thing on Sega that you mentioned. I think the game is called Paperboy. Could that be
Yes,
something?
that one.
I'm pretty
Yes.
sure though that's also on the Nintendo.
No, that was on Sega, man. That
Yeah.
I'm a
Okay.
hundred
Okay.
percent sure. Yeah, that
Okay.
one
Okay.
I'm a
Okay.
hundred percent sure. Yes.
Okay. The wiki just mentioned 1985 Nintendo Entertainment System. So okay, but I believe you. I didn't play it, so I have no evidence to the contrary.
No,
But that's
no.
cool.
That one I'm 100% sure. You can't discuss with me for that one. Like it was my
Okay.
my
Cool.
whole my whole infance, like my childhood. So yeah, with
I
Mario Kart,
understand.
I probably made a mistake. I had like I was pretty young at that age. I was like 7 years old or 6 years old, like when I started playing games. So I don't exactly remember, but I remember that one. That Paperboy was on
But
Sega.
but
The one
did you
that
actually play? Did you actually play with Sonic the Hedgehog?
yes, of
Oh,
course,
okay. Just clarifying. Did you? Okay. Okay.
yes,
Awesome.
yes, yes.
So let's get on to the next question. Unless Prometheus had something to jump in here, who wanted to jump in?
no, I'm fine, thank you.
Cool. Okay, so then let's look at Star Atlas, and I'm very curious, Santi, what aspect or aspects of the game you are looking forward to most, or perhaps that intrigue you the most, or that simply got you hooked into the whole Star Atlas metaverse.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, I'm more like a first-person shooter people like person, and I'm not an RPG player. I'm not a lifelong RPG player, so this will be my first role-playing game. So I'm really looking forward for all this, or for all the stuff that comes with role-playing, and I really want to immerse. Like I'm planning to play a good amount of hours of my life in Star Atlas. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to how to combine my first-person shooter experience and the player versus player experience with the role-playing game and deciding the future of my faction. That's what I am
No,
looking
no.
forward to.
Ambitious. So, actually, did you ever play any other space-related games? More perhaps in the past, but perhaps also more recently? Is the concept of space and sci-fi, is that something that intrigues you to the point that you yeah, gave this game a closer look?
Yes, so I didn't play like I went didn't go all hands into a sci-fi game exactly, but I play with my friends some games. I'm more like a console player, so I play the closest thing I saw is like Destiny, for example, but not too much.
Hmm.
So I'm really exploring like with all the involvement, like the development of Star Atlas. I'm really exploring all the sci-fi games, and I've been looking at gameplays from Eve Online and Star Citizen, and yeah, I'm really excited to start playing Star Atlas. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. So actually, you mentioned the RPG aspect of the game. I have to say we did not hear yet that much about it. Is there any mechanism that you feel? I mean, aside, you mentioned RPG as a whole, but is there any part of that that you are curious to explore, to try for the first time? Or
I think that the leveling system of how engaging it could get, and how immersive it gets into role playing games. I think that I'm most looking forward to that, and I have a huge faith on Danny and his team, and all they are doing, like the lower part of the game. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that and what they come up with.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Um, can Keeping on the track of game-related questions, are you playing any other crypto games at the moment while waiting for Star Atlas to come out?
No, the answer is no. I'm 100% focusing on Star Atlas, and I wish I had the time to play games like other games, but I prefer to spend time, for example, researching things and doing things for Star Atlas. I'm doing my research on games like Axie and other crypto games, more on Axie because of the huge boom it has had in the past like month. And yeah, so I'm not playing, but I'm doing my research on that. I don't have the the time really to spend playing, and I also, for example, in Axie you have to invest a little bit of money, so I'm not planning to spend a lot of hours playing, so I'm not spending the money to start. That's the real thing.
Thank you. It's great to learn from competition, to see what works and what doesn't, especially when we're talking about play and earn sphere. What do you think about the whole shift uh, of gaming towards play and earn paradigm?
So I think that play and earn is the future of gaming. It's no doubt. I have no doubt on that, and I think we are really early in this stage, especially Star Atlas and everyone who's here. Like, if you're listening to this, you are early in the play and earn niche. So yeah, I mean, all the games that are currently working on play and earn are, for example, Axie and games that I don't find really interesting because I like more high quality gameplay. I'm not saying that Axie is not high quality. Like, I really admire what Axie is doing, but yeah, so I'm looking for a game like Star Atlas to start playing like these play and earn games, and I think it's really the future. And if you're a gamer, you are accustomed to put money and put money and put time into the games and never receiving something back. So I think that the whole movement of crypto in general is the power to the people and getting the power back to the people. And play and earn is like perfect for the gamers, and also the concept of the metaverse is something that is gaining more and more traction. You find like huge enterprises getting inside the metaverse. I don't know if you guys have seen what Mark Zuckerberg said about the metaverse and this movement, and he's kind of betting the future of Facebook in the metaverse. So we are really early, and I think that the concept of play and earn and gaming is going to gain a lot more of traction and getting more serious and serious every day, and getting more people every day inside this.
Yes, yeah, thanks for the answer. Actually, that's a good point, Zuckerberg. I actually mostly ignore the guy, so perhaps I should look that up, what you now just mentioned, because that sounds interesting. And it also
Yes.
reminds me that you looking into Axie Infinity. I mean, personally, let me make a very short remark about that because I see people being very enthusiastic about the Star Atlas white paper, and rightfully so, and about our dual token system. Um, and almost no other game has anything to that extent. But with a tiny exception of Axie Infinity, I have to say their white paper and also their dual token system is pretty well done as well. But that's just yeah. So I think looking at Axie Infinity, especially of course now that they've become, I mean, they were already the most popular. It's just that in recent weeks their economy has exploded, and also to be honest, their player base has really yeah. Of course, if you grow exponentially, then at some point you will just burst through the seams, and that's what now happened to them. But that is pretty cool stuff. I agree. I also pay close attention to that. So I'm just curious, Santi, did you actually check the Play to Earn documentary that was released with some help from the X Infinity guys? Or actually, to be honest, X Infinity guys, I should actually say from the Yield Guild game. Yield Game Guild. Well, I don't know. YGG.
Yes, yes. YGG, yes.
What are we doing?
I
I have to
didn't
say,
watch that documentary that you mentioned, but I really want to. So please send me the link, and I will take a look.
yeah, I will put it in the general channel later on, or perhaps somebody else can do it. Just play to earn. I think a search on YouTube should be. It's a, I think, 20-minute documentary. It's pretty short, but it's pretty cool to see what people are doing in mostly the Philippines with that whole paradigm shift that you talked earlier about. So let me jump into a next question. We know that a large part of the Star Atlas team works remotely. Can you share something with us about how that is working, or how you are experienced that being well yourself based in Argentina, and as far as I'm aware, far from the core team, or let's say the executives. But actually, before you answer that, let me also invite once more the chat. If you have a question for Santi, then please raise your hand, and we'll invite you on stage, and you can ask a question yourself. Or yeah, put it in the general channel, and then we'll pick it up from there, if you feel like it, of course. All right, Santi, if you can, yeah, provide some insight into remote working with the team, I'm very curious.
Yeah, so it's a good question. I have been like studying remote like since the COVID and the quarantine and everything. I've been studying remote, so I I'm kind of used to working remote, and I really like it. And it hasn't been an effort for me to start working remote for Star Atlas. And I think the way it's organized, it's really great because I really don't feel the difference of not being like all in the same place. For me, it's really the same because you are always in constant like communication, and you always have team calls and everything. And also the team inside Stratos, like the team is, they are all great people. They are all great people. They received me like they knew me like my whole life, and they only knew me for one day, and it was really great. Like the onboarding process in Star Atlas, and getting used to work inside Star Atlas is like you get used to it like really quick. So it hasn't been an effort at all, and I'm really having a lot of fun working at Star Atlas. And yeah, every person inside the team is great, like Pablo, Michael, Mate is the head of communications at Star Atlas. Like they are all great people, and they have the time, for example, to teach you and to guide you through different things. And yeah, so my experience so far has been absolutely great.
Just to follow up on that, do you have many? So do you have many meetings with the team, or perhaps more one-on-one meetings, or do you really spend 90% of your time? Actually, that's perhaps a better question. Do you spend 90+% of your time just being on Discord answering questions, or are there other aspects, other things you're doing in the meanwhile
No,
during your working day?
there are a lot other things that I'm doing.
I
I
figure.
think that the time that I spend answering questions is of my work day, it's like 20 or 30%. Like the time that I spend like really into answering questions. There is a
Hmm.
lot of planning at this moment inside Star Atlas. Like we are getting into some key stages with all the drops that are coming. So there's a lot of planning going on, like behind the scenes, that is happening. So I spend a lot of time there and helping the team doing research and yeah, managing different things. And yeah, so you guys are really helping me with answering questions and all this. So thank you again. You're really doing my job easier.
You're welcome, man.
That's great. I presume you cannot share with us anything about those plans.
No, 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 no. Don't get me into this situation, man.
Leaks, Santi. Yes, you always say leaks.
I
No, no,
push
no.
others to leak. Don't push me
Oh
to
yeah.
leak.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair. Question about one of, I presume it was your initiative, this Atlassian Air. Um, which
Yes.
which was great. It was a lot of fun, and we actually have both of winners in our corp, just so that everyone knows. So what are the next plans for the Atlassianer? When will we have next rounds? When will we have the final?
So yeah, the Atlassianer was an idea. Yeah, it went. I came up with that idea and then I planned a little bit with Diego and Suhail. They helped me a lot, and we are really having fun hosting the Atlassianer. Like really, it's been really fun. So I'm planning to host the next one probably this week, I think, and it will be the last probably before the final. So the winner will classify to the final that you Prometheus are in and compete. And I'm trying to speak with the team to get some really cool prizes. So that's more what's stopping me, like the thing of the prizes and what you guys could win in a competition. So yeah, that's what it's kind of stopping the Atlassianer to continue. I have to speak with the team about that. And so yeah, we are having the third one this week probably, and then the final when we decide what prizes can we give you guys, but to the winner. Heard it here first.
Yeah, I guess I really have to get my act together now because, of course, with two of the winners here, I mean, I could not attend the last two. I think I can attend this one though, so I have to really, yeah, really go and study because I can, of course, not underperform with with the
Yeah, so
reputation we currently have.
if someone from Aephia wins the third one, the three winners will be from Aephia. So yeah, it will be a pretty good achievement.
Exactly. So I better get start working right afterward. Thank you. So just out of curiosity, oh, yeah. No, go ahead, Tom. Yeah, rightfully so. Awesome achievement indeed. So Santi, just I mean, again, I don't want you to press, of course. I don't want to get any leaks from you, but since it is your thing, after Atlassianer, do you have any idea for future shows? Do you want to do things in a similar vein or something else, or is this the one and only? And then afterwards, we just all jump into the mini game and there's no time for anything else, or anything you can share with us about that?
Yeah, so I'm really like planning the Atlassianer right now. And after that, I think we are going to have the mini game, but I really want to keep things entertaining inside the community. So we probably will come up with something else. And yeah, like I always said, every feedback, every suggestion, every single comment you have, like it's more than welcome. My DMs are always open, and I try to always listen to what you guys, like the whole community, has to say. It's really important for me. It's like the most important part of my job is to listen. And because if I don't listen to you guys and what really you want, then if I plan something, it won't be like as successful as it was, or something like that. So yeah, I try to listen to everyone. So if you have any suggestions or anything, you can PM me. And yeah, that's what I have to say. And also thank you to everyone. I have been saying thank you to you guys. You really deserve, but thank you to everyone in the community. Like it's been really fun to be the community lead of Stratlas, and mainly because of the whole community. Like it's really great. The support we are having in such an early stage, like it's crazy. I would have never imagined this. Like to be honest, it's crazy. And thank you everyone.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Thank you very much, yes, Santi, for answering. I see that nobody has any questions for you, so okay, that is fine. I mean, we also give looking at the time should probably head on anyway. So thank you very much, Santi, for taking the time to answer these questions, and then we can get to know you a little better. But Prometheus still has something I hear. Oh, you're completely right. I missed that. Apologies. Let's get him up. Yep. Let's see. I hope he didn't raise his hand like 50 minutes ago already. Kirk, if you can accept the invitation, it's somewhere in your Discord. I think at the top of your Discord screen. Some info. Yes, perfect.
All right.
Welcome.
Hey, how's it going, y'all? How's it going? Good afternoon.
Excellent. Thank you, man. Same.
All right. So, I have a question for Santi. I apologize if I mispronounced that or whatever,
No
but
problem.
like,
No problem.
regarding Star Atlas and using Solana as a network for the online gaming portion of the game. Maybe this has been answered in the white paper, maybe this has been answered in a town hall, but maybe I have missed it. My question for you is, for what you do know, what is what makes Solana the perfect blockchain and or network for the game, and how do you see the bandwidth being uh I would say worthy of something that could potentially be as big as, let's say, Star Citizen or Eve Online.
Yes, yes, I understand the question. And Solana is like the layer one blockchain with the most like scalability and to grow. Like it's the layer one that has the most possibilities to grow. If you read the Solana white paper, we actually asked this question on the Atlassianer. It has the potential to have like I think it was like 710 transactions per
50
second.
50,000 transactions per second.
How much?
50,000.
Yep.
50,000. That's actually, but it
Yes,
has the
it's a
potential
potential
to be
is
like
490,000.
yeah. So it's pretty big, and that's we need to build Star Atlas in a blockchain. We need the blockchain with the most scalability there out there, and with the most cheap also transactions, and that's Solana. That's Solana, no doubt.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess to further ask the question, in regards to having a stable connection to the online, or I would say on-chain metaverse, um, how would you see? How would you say this is? I'm sorry, I just woke up. I was producing music all night. And just to put this in perspective, I'm on the East Coast of the United States, and I was producing music all night for people. Um, so I do apologize if I can't speak properly at the moment. But to further
Oh,
ask
mate.
my question, how can you has I'm trying to think how to put this into words, but I guess how I would ask it would be in the sense of how stable would would the blockchain need to be for the game to run flawlessly and seamlessly, as, let's say, let me just name a popular online game at the moment in regards to something that you know let's say Elite Dangerous. I have
Yes.
yet to have any problems in the game in regards to connectivity. Um, and how uh, would you say Solana has the same stability as, let's say, the modern internet
So
for being
yeah,
as massive
I
as it is?
understand. I understand the question. And so the future of Star Atlas is expected to be serverless, and that's when everything will be running on Solana. And at the first stages, it will be like all experimental. So I think that the approach right now is to start with centralized servers, some centralized servers, and then be moving into the decentralized network when it's more stable, when everything is more stable. So that's the approach we are taking and what we are thinking. And it's kind of more of a technical question. We could have like in the next town hall someone from the tech team to
Okay.
answer these kind of questions. But the approach is like that. Like it's everything experimental. Like a game like Star Atlas has never been done before, and in blockchain. So it's going to be like a great experiment, and I think the approach is to start with centralized servers, and then uh, we will be moving everything into the centralized servers. But the asset ownership will be all on chain.
Okay.
That will be all on chain. But for playability, it will be like in centralized servers at first.
Okay. Well, that would make sense. Unless Solana does something amazing the next year or two.
Yes,
Um,
Solana is also evolving. That's a thing.
yeah, it is. It is ever evolving, and I'm very proud to be a holder of Solana as well because um, I can't think of another cryptocurrency or another blockchain that has the potential of accomplishing what Solana can do. Um, and I get this isn't related to like a technical question, but
Yeah, let's keep that
how,
non-technical for Santi, of course.
okay, understandable. Um, for a non-technical question, how would you compare Star Atlas to, let's say, other space exploration esque kind of games out there at the moment? Like, let's say Star Citizen, Eve Online, Elite Dangerous. How would you compare that? Would you say it is within the same scope in terms of you know uh
Yes,
you
yes,
know
yes, yes. I
you know what I
understand. I
mean? I'm
understand the
sorry.
question. Yes. So I will compare with, for example, Star Citizen, the gameplay, for example. It's going to be pretty not similar because I don't know in what engine exactly Star Citizen is built, but we are building on Unreal Engine 5, so it will be like the state of the art technology in terms of game engine,
Okay.
and also the real asset ownership. Like for what I know, Star Citizen had, for example, ships in sale, and they are pretty expensive, and you
Yeah,
don't
for
really
sure.
own that. Yeah, you don't really own that ships, so then you can't resell them, or you have to do like a big movement to resell them, and you are spending like you are putting in a lot of money into something that won't give you anything really back. So I think that's where we can compare like Star Atlas with Star Citizen. Like the real ownership of assets, it's not a small thing. I think it's really changing all the industry, and maybe if Star Citizen had a real ownership of assets, it will be different from what it is right now. So yeah,
Most likely,
that's
it'd only be you can only sell the ships for in-game currency, but not
Yeah.
anything that could be used outside of it.
yeah,
That's my
exactly.
understanding so far.
Hey, Kurt, thanks for coming on stage, man. We really, appreciate you taking the time to ask some questions to Santi.
Yeah,
If you don't
no,
mind, we will head on with the rest, though, of the game
yeah, no,
discussion, since we try to keep it within an hour, but let's see.
yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure speaking to you, Santiago. And I can't wait for the game. It is probably I would say the only game I have been looking forward to was Starfield and Halo Infinite. But seeing Star Atlas and what it's trying to do in terms of the crypto sphere as well, but also as an actual game, um, I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm excited to see what you and your team can do.
Thank you very much, man, and thank you for your questions.
You're very welcome.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Brooke. All right. Then I would now say let's move over to the game. the meat of the whole thing here, of the whole talk we're having. Let's talk about the game some more.
Yes.
And to kick things off, of course, we had the Rebirth, the last Rebirth poster prom.
Yeah, we had
Peter?
last poster dropped yesterday. Hopefully everybody was able to see it. Now the poster campaign really Rebirth and Armstrong Forever poster campaign really ended with posters not being sold anymore by the developer team, but they are being still actively traded on secondary market, and we saw in particular Armstrong Forever price action recently, where it went from listed, what was it, like $69, so around $70. It went to something like 600. So
Yeah, crazy.
that was pretty exciting to watch.
There were some screenshot of 4,000.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yes. So yes.
What are you doing, Tom? You're redecorating the house. Well, no.
No, I have a son, so it's pretty much the same.
I understand.
Okay, so we wanted to just give a little bit more information to people, because we see these questions online a lot. So posters are still being traded. There will be a snapshot after which rewards will be distributed, but we don't know yet when it's going to happen. It's likely going to take at least several weeks before this snapshot, just because there was an initial offering also on OpenSea. If you read the white paper, you would actually see only OpenSea as the marketplace for posters, just because the team did not really expect to launch their own marketplace on Solana in time. But what happened was that they actually did through Serum, which is the underlying DEX for posters on Solana. And it also happened so that community was actually pretty comfortable with Solana from the get-go, and something like 99% of all of the poster sales happened on Solana chain. So after, I think, first five posters, so that would complete you tier 2. After those 5 posters, I think OpenSea listings stopped. By the way, you may find more posters on OpenSea. There are many fake accounts making those posters. There is a link in links section of main Star Atlas Discord directing you to proper OpenSea collection if you actually want to buy it on OpenSea. So there are people who actually bought even recently there just because prices there happen to be better. But people need to know that they will need to move posters from OpenSea to Solana afterwards before snapshot, so additional work is needed just to have all of the posters in one wallet on Solana blockchain, so that poster tiers can be formed, and then people would get their airdrops based on those tiers. So yeah, OpenSea is an option to buy. It's an option that requires some work. So be careful. And yeah, if you have already assets on OpenSea, you will need to monitor for official announcements of the bridge that the team will come up with to get posters on Solana, and so that you have them all before snapshot when holdings are recorded, really, what current state of the blockchain, and rewards are distributed based on those holdings. Yeah.
Yeah, I think to jump on that, I mean, I think that was most important, and perhaps Santi can correct me if I'm wrong, is that the snapshot originally planned for the 24th or 25th, I think, it will happen in the future. It will be announced. It will probably not happen in the next 7 days because the team will announce it, and I assume at the very least leave everybody a few days to get their act together after the announcement. And I think that the team is still, also trying to get a solution for those OpenSea assets up and running before their announcement, even perhaps. So I would,
You are
uh,
correct.
thanks very much. I would encourage everybody to just relax, buy more posters or sell more posters or whatever you want to do. You will all get notified on the main Discord, probably in the announcements channel, when the snapshot will be, and you will still have enough time after that announcement to get your act together and be prepared for the snapshot. And one more thing I want to mention, because some people seem to think that when the snapshot happens, they will immediately get all rewards. That is not the case. I mean, perhaps it might be the case, but it doesn't have to be the case. It just means that at that point in time, a snapshot will be made of all the wallets, all the posters that are in those wallets, and the team can then afterwards determine which assets should be rewarded to each individual account, and then they will do that at some point in the future, probably before the minigame is launched, but somewhere after the snapshot.
Yes, something worth mentioning is that after the snapshot, the posters will only hold the value, the artistic value. So it's something
Yeah,
to take into
excellent
account
point.
if you are looking to invest in the posters and everything. After the snapshot, like the rewards are like already fixed, and you will receive what you had, the tier you had in your wallet at that time, and the poster will only hold the artistic value because all the NFTs are going to be, the rewards are going to be like separate NFTs, and that's worth mentioning.
And
Perfect. Yeah.
sorry, and just to continue on that topic a little bit, since again many people were asking about this, can you just confirm that all of the future airdrops and perks for tier would be linked to corresponding tier badges?
Yes, I think it is. Yeah, it is like you're saying.
Yeah, there were some
And
people confused. They figured that the posters would still get those rewards, but that's indeed, as far as we know, not the case. It's really,
I think it's going to be attached to the badges, but it's something that we should need confirmation about this. Yes, I think, like, nearly sure that it is like we are saying, but I don't want to confirm it,
Mm-hmm.
just in case.
Okay, that's good
perfect.
to know.
And also
Yeah,
something that you mentioned, Prometheus, at the beginning of this explanation is that we were not thinking of Serum as an option at first, and Serum was pretty much experimental. So when we started selling the river posters, we really started like testing the limits of the Serum market. If you remember those days, like those early days when everyone was buying like Discovery of Iris, it was like a huge mess around the community, and at that moment I was the only one like from the team that was doing like customer support. So those were some really intense days. But
Yeah, yes, sir.
it's been really great that the adoption that people had for the Solana wallets and the Solana ecosystem and Serum, like, it's been pretty great, and it has like Stratus has helped a lot, Serum and the Solana ecosystem to onboard new people. So that's what's all about in the community.
Yeah, I was actually one of those who tried to buy DOI Discovery of Iris in the first seconds of the drop, and those people then afterwards
ouch.
had an issue because the whole claiming system wasn't worked out yet. But yeah, it all worked out in the end. The team found the fix. We got back USDC at the time and then rebought DOI. So that was great.
Yes.
Awesome. Let's head on to actually related to the full timeline, because we have so there are a bunch of things that are going to happen the next few weeks until the end of August. And actually, let me preface that by saying, at the moment, the minigame has been scheduled to launch the end of August. What that launch exactly means, we'll also get briefly into, but of course, this could still move. This is a moving target. The team already moved the target a few times, though never very far, which is, I think, very nice accomplishment. But know that everything what we are now, what we're going to bring up is completely open to change at any time. But I think it's interesting to look at the timeline a little because there are several things going to happen, and we have a rough idea of how things are going to happen. I just want to share with that. So keep in mind, this is not even official. This is just what's based on everything we heard, Prometheus and myself. This is, and perhaps, yeah, this is what we think is going to happen. So we have heard that one of the first things that probably will happen is the launch of the new interactive website. And we've also heard that that actually seems to be going hand in hand with the cinematic trailer. But we also heard that the trailer will actually be launched in August, which would mean that the website and the trailer will both become available somewhere in August and probably somewhere early August, since we think that is the first thing that's going to happen. Afterwards, we are expecting the tokenomics document and the game economy document. And in case people are not aware, the tokenomics document is really going about Atlas and Polis and the utility of each of these tokens, whereas the game economy document is about how players are able to monetize their time spent in the game. The idea seems to be that these might be released very close or even at the same time as one another. Then it becomes a bit vaguer. I think that the snapshot will actually happen after that. But that is completely that could happen earlier. Perhaps Santi knows a little bit more. Perhaps if he has, he's of course free to interrupt and say that is nonsense what you're saying. This is completely different. But he doesn't have to because he might not be able to say anything on the matter, and we're just here, right, little here.
No, you're right. You're right. Like you guys are saying everything right. Yes. And
Thank you.
also
So just
a comment
yeah.
on the website, like the new website that is launching
Mhm.
is. I have seen some previews, and I think I have said this on the town halls, but it's crazy. You're going to love it. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
I,
It's of the highest quality. Like yeah, it's really good.
So what are we going to love most about the website?
I think that how interactive the website is. It's also the quality and the experience of the website. I haven't seen it before in a game, to be honest. And
no,
I don't want to hype it a lot, but in my
no, you
personal
can.
view, I really loved it. Yeah.
So I don't know even if you can clear up this much, but when you're saying website, do you mean it's more of a game interface, or do you mean just it's a collection of information about the game with some videos, maybe Star Atlas map there?
I don't want to leak anything, but it's kind of a mix. It's kind of a mix, but more like it will replace the previous website.
Okay, great.
Do you know if it will be mobile friendly, or is it also perhaps a bit too not something you can
I
share yet?
don't really know this answer, to be honest.
All right, no, that's fine. Okay, so let's now move on with the timeline. So we figured that after the snapshot, probably at some point the token generation event will take place, which of course is the creation and initial sales of the Atlas and Polis tokens. And then at the end of August, probably coinciding with the launch of the minigame, but potentially 1 or 2 days before, the Galactic Asset offering, and that means the kickoff of the asset sales. Now, as you know, the minigame itself, when we say will launch end of August, of course, simply means the registration period. But I think most of you are up to speed with after the last town hall and a few of the latest AMAs and interviews concerning what the minigame stages will be. But very briefly, registration phase will then launch end of August. 1 month after will be the full ship configuration and the missions. And then 1 month later, the end of October, will be claiming land and mining. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And it's a really action-packed month next month. I really look forward to that.
Yeah.
So I think we are running out of time, but if you can bear with us, I would really like to go a little bit in at least one of the topics that means a lot to me, which is shipbuilding. Not coincidentally, also the main priority of our corporation. So based on the information I gathered from interviews and whatnot, um, actually the last town hall, Danny really went also a little bit into that. So I have to actually let me first start off by prefacing this again with this is based on our theories and on information we gathered from numerous places. And even if it would be mentioned directly by a developer, it would still be open to change. So this is just a state that, based on information we now have, seems to be how shipbuilding is going to work. So at the moment, we know there will be 120 ships in the full Unreal Engine 5 version of the game, which is pretty awesome. And we also know that those ships at the moment have been planned to be developed or, let's say, bear the name of 9 different manufacturers. You all, of course, have seen Pierce and Calico and Opal, and there will be 6 more. Perhaps for me to know a few of the other names, but not so important for now. There will be 9 manufacturers. And the interesting tidbit is that those manufacturers will most likely have a presence on the major faction space stations, where they will offer a limited amount of these ships. So I'm not entirely sure how that is going to be in the minigame. I'm also not entirely sure if this is only planned for the minigame or also for the bigger game. So what I think most people need to keep in mind, and what some people don't really seem to get, is that the developers will really offer enough of these ships for every player to be able to buy them. I'm not saying that, let's say we have 50,000, no less. Let's say we have 100,000 players. And of course, it doesn't mean that they're going to offer 100,000 Calico Guardians. That's a bit too much, being a super ship. But they will try to make sure and to adapt their offering that everybody is able to buy a ship in order to play the game, because this is, of course, crucial. What we also know is that in the very beginning, and probably even after the original mining module will launch, is that the players will simply not be able to create the ships. Even when the mining module launches, there will be no ship creation from the get-go. That will follow later on. So yeah, at the very least, for the first foreseeable future, the developers will sell the ships. There will be enough ships. They will be limited, but the amount might be even changed in a potential future, stretched a little bit if simply more players are joining before player ship production is up. And even when player ship production is up and running, and when the players are able to create their first ships, the developers will probably still offer their own, for the simple reason that the player production is not going to be sufficient. The developers will no doubt try and make sure that, again, the investment you put into creating a ship is also something you will be able to get out through sales. But it is very likely, we assume, that the developers, and also what we just simply gathered here and there between the lines, that the developers are going to sell these ships for the foreseeable future. So shoop. But just I think that's important to mention, because some people think there will be like a limited amount and then that's it, and they're going to be crazy expensive, and then the rest of the people will simply not be able to play the game. That is, of course, not how it's going to work. That would be nice on paper for the people buying a ship, but will be catastrophic to the game as a whole to find the right level of adoption. So, having said that, how does shipbuilding work? So first and foremost, it's important to know that it seems to be the case that the manufacturers will actually sell licenses. And by obtaining one of these licenses, you will gain access to their blueprints, and you will gain access to more blueprints, which probably means better ships, more interesting variants, bigger ships. You will achieve that by leveling up the licenses. And this goes back to what Santi mentioned, role-playing aspect. You can level up pretty much everything, it seems, in this game. And I'm not just talking about the tier of the mining equipment, or that you can upgrade your ships. You can upgrade your crew members by training them. You can upgrade them by simply having them create spaceships, amongst other things. And when they gain, when their level goes up, that level means that their license goes up because that skill is connected to that license. And when you level up your license, you will gain access to additional blueprints. It's a bit unclear if you will have to buy those blueprints. I would not be surprised if that's the case. But yeah, that is how you will be able to actually create the ship. So to dive more into the technical aspect, to create a ship, you need to get the right materials. There are raw materials, there are advanced materials that you have to craft from the raw materials. The raw materials are located in specific regions of space that different factions will have access to. As we know at the moment, is every faction has a different distribution of the raw materials available to them in their safe and medium zones. I'm not 100% sure what's going to happen in deep space. If perhaps deep space closest to a faction will also have that same kind of distribution going on. It does mean, however, that because by distribution I mean the distribution of the various resources will be different per faction a little bit, but it also means that there are, as far as I'm aware, some faction-specific resources that only that faction has access to, or at the very least, again, in the safe and medium zones, medium risk zones. So you will need to get the right materials. You will need to refine those materials. You probably might have to get them from other factions, which is also something we discussed already in the Aephia Industries chat. But at some point, then you have to build an orbital space station nearby one of your claims. And when you have that space station, you will have to build a shipyard deck on that space station. And if you have that shipyard deck, and if you have the license to craft ships, you will be able to actually, given the right resources, create your ships. And those ships you can then store in your hangar. I'm not entirely up to sure if the hangar and the shipyard are one deck together or if the hangar is a different deck. But yeah, you'll be able to store your ships there, and then you can either sell them or you can use them. Let me check what I want to mention on this. I as already mentioned, through successful craft, you will be able to upgrade your ship manufacturing license. So I can foresee that, and that's also why I mentioned the preview before about the developers selling ships. Even if players will be able to create ships, they will probably create with the most simple ships. Let's say the Pierce X4, the Opal Jet. The Jet. Sorry, I sometimes mix them up. So the smaller ships, and then after doing that successfully, you get access to better blueprints, be able to either acquire them or you get them, be able to create bigger ships, which require more resources, etc., etc. And this is, as far as we know currently, how the whole ship building process is working. And Brom, you have something to add to that?
No, I think that's enough for general overview. I'm sure we'll have much deeper discussion in the whole system in the corp-only meetings.
For sure. So we are already running over time, I think. Would you like to continue on a topic yourself, Brom, or should we call it a day?
No, I see that Darcy has a raised hand. Do you think we have time for one question?
I do, for sure. I hope Santi does as well if it's for him.
I do.
Okay, great.
Let's get him up. Let's get him up.
Darcy, you
Darcy,
should
if you
have a button on top of your screen to accept the invitation.
welcome.
There.
Welcome.
I'm a little late to the party, but you probably covered this. But I have a couple questions regarding the posters.
Okay.
All right.
So the first poster, we'll call it poster 1. If that's purchased, is that the tier 0
Yes.
reward?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
reverse tier 0.
Okay. So then, in order to get the tier 1 award, how many posters do you have to have, and do you have to have them all?
You will need poster 1, 2, and 3. And
Okay, and
them all. Yes.
okay, and then the tier 2?
And the tier 2 you will need to have from poster 1 to poster 5. You
Okay.
will need to have them all. You can achieve tier 2 by only having poster 4 and 5. You need all the previous one.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And so these posters are available for purchase from OpenSea or from the
From the
Star Atlas,
Solana. Yeah. Exactly.
and
From the
so
Star Atlas
that'll
website.
just be on the DEX market.
Yeah, so Star Atlas is using Serum Dex for their posters,
Yeah.
but the website itself shows always the best current offer for each of the individual posters.
Right.
So you can go to the Serum Dex if you want to have the full overview, but the website shows you the cheapest offer.
Okay.
And if
And
you
so
are going to
that's
use OpenSea, then as Prometheus mentioned before, please check the links channel
yeah.
on the. Okay, okay,
I
cool.
caught that. Okay.
Okay.
So then, but you do not necessarily need the posters to be involved in the game. You can simply purchase those assets once the mini game starts up.
Yes.
Correct.
Correct.
For
Okay.
most of them, because there are some exclusive rewards that are not required to play the game, but there are some exclusive rewards part of the tiers.
They're like little bonuses.
Exactly. There are a few skins. Tier 1 also gives you exclusive pets. And
Sure.
perhaps important to mention is that the tiers come with badges. And those badges are the so-called open-ended treasure chests, as is also mentioned on the website, which means that in the future the developers could airdrop something special to those badge holders.
Right. Okay.
But this is unspecified. We have no information what it could be, so it's very difficult to quantify the value of that.
Or it may be also some perk based on wallet having that badge that is not really airdrop. So for example, there was a speculation that there may be some kind of early access to tokens for tier holders. Again, that's just a speculation. Team said nothing
Right.
of that sort, but it's just kind of an example of something that is not just a direct airdrop.
Okay. And what would be the advantage to becoming part of your guild, like part of your corporation, from
You want
just
to answer
being
that, Paul, or?
from just playing the game?
Well, I mean, we mentioned it actually today. Also, a similar question in our channels,
Right.
but
And that's why I say
I
I
mean,
wasn't here. So
yeah, no, that's not no. Of course, that's fine. That's fine. So, I mean, I think the advantage of being in a guild or a player organization is that you have access to a lot of the things that you need to really expand. So you could, for example, you could mine, you could sell some resources, but it will be near impossible for you to get the whole flow from mining resources to creating ships just by yourself. Of course, you don't have to. You can use the rest of the universe, the rest of the metaverse, other players to just sell and buy the things you need to do the things you want to do. But for example, if you also want to venture in deep space and want some protection, I mean, you do want some protection in deep space. And I mean, you could facilitate the protection yourself, but are you also able to do the exploration and the mining yourself? I mean,
right.
together we can really reach much grander goals, and we can really help each other become more efficient, really create a synergy in the things we do, protect each other, join
And
forces in our exploration efforts, in our defensive and potentially offensive efforts, etc.
and so for those advantages that come with flying under your corporation, obviously there's going to be some form of a tax. We'll call it a tax. Just is that is there a specific rate of tax, or how do you intend to set that up? Because
That is,
we're going to have to pay you to protect our ships and mining outposts and stuff like that. So will it always just be a percentage of the gains?
While there may be a tax, we don't know yet. meaning like we, at least at this point, we were not discussing implementing our own tax if there isn't one already in the system. I'm personally of a mind to have as little tax rate as possible. So if 0% is possible and people can just help each other, that would be great from my point of view. Or something extremely small like 0.5%, just in order to put something in corp coffers, just to help afterwards with some corp specific tasks. But I just wanted to expand a little bit more on kinds of cooperations that are possible. Because let's say, so we heard a lot about leveling up of different structures and everything else really in the game. Looks like tier 5 is the highest for structures. Again, that's what we saw so far as the highest. I think it was mentioned in one of the town halls as highest. And let's say that having higher tier refinery gives you just better yield of advanced materials. So you put in the same 1,000 units of raw material, and instead of getting 100 units, you get 150, then 180, then 210, whatever. So you would really want to have tier 5 refinery that gives the highest yield for the same input. But it, let's say, can be extremely expensive. So let's say $50,000, $100,000 to set up. So you wouldn't want every player in the guild or by themselves to pay that much to set up the best refinery, but instead to have just one corp refinery, so just one spend of that amount, where every member of the guild can get the highest yield on their raw materials.
That makes sense. So, are you a tier 5? Like, do you have all the posters?
No. So poster tiers are not related to those. Even tier 5 posters don't give you refinery even of tier 1 level. Much more tier 5. Posters in Rebirth campaign are just posters that have different rewards attached per different sets of posters. Those rewards will be distributed after snapshot. Then tier system will not really be applicable to you, to players, because a player can have 0 posters right now, and they can buy a ton of ships and tokens and whatnot at further sales. Now, what I'm talking about is a player sets up, they buy, in my understanding, tier 1 refinery, and then through some in-game processes, then they are able to invest materials.
So everybody basically starts at the same level, regardless of the bonuses that come with the posters, and so we're all going to have to build up those, level up all of our facilities, regardless of what they are.
Exactly. Even though we'll have different distribution of assets. So one player can have just one small ship, another can have 100.
Sure.
Yeah, but we all start with a mining. What's it called? Mining equipment level 1. We all start with a space station level 1 that has not a refinery deck at all, and it goes for every reward.
And that has to be, all those upgrades have to be leveled up. You can't just buy one. You have to work your way up into it.
Well, you can buy one, but I think you will buy it with. Well, I mean, you have to. That's a good question.
We don't really know yet.
Yeah, but I mean, to upgrade your space station and construct a new deck, you probably need raw or advanced or whatever materials, which you of course could buy. Which means that in theory, yes, of course, you could buy the materials required and then upgrade your ship by adding that deck, and then you have to upgrade that deck to become better and better and better and better. And with the in-game economy, in theory, you could buy everything, but you cannot buy it at the moment, and you cannot buy it before the minigame is launched and before. And if you buy
No.
things from developers, I'm pretty sure they only sell level 1 things.
But
means
even when
uh,
even when that game starts,
mhm.
no one faction or group of people or person will be able to buy their way to the top. You're going to have to
True.
manage your resources and build it up. So it's not
That
as
is
if
our
someone's going to come in and go, you know what, I like this. Here's $500,000. Give me the top spot, and I'll take over. Everybody has to earn their way up through the system.
Yeah, this is just based on speculation, but to our understanding or my personal thoughts is the developers will sell level 1 things. The developers will sell you Atlas and they will sell you Polis. Though that is limited, to be honest. But I'm pretty sure they're not going to sell you advanced or raw materials. I'm pretty sure these
Right,
have to
okay.
be
Yep.
mined by players, which means that, yeah, you have to wait until enough is mined in order to buy it and then use it. But this is speculation. I hope, perhaps that's best, I hope the developers are going to do that, because else you could indeed almost have a play-to-win concept, and they're trying to reduce that, even though with play and earn games that's a bit a thing that you have, but I think they can restrict it that way. And I hope they do. I expect them to do that. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Does that sufficient to answer your question? If you have additional questions,
that's all good.
Awesome. Thank you very much for
Okay.
being here and asking us the questions.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Thanks.
Much appreciated. All right, then I think we'll now definitely call it a day,
Yes.
since we're already 20 minutes late. Next show, we will try to discuss a few more game mechanics. Of course, if we are able to get our hands on a special guest that you're all dying to hear from, let's see how we can balance things out. But yeah, at the first, I want to thank everybody here for attending. I want to thank Santi for joining us today as our very first special guest on this show. And of course, want to thank my co-founder and co-host Prometheus for doing this with me.
Yes,
Thank you
thanks
for inviting me,
Sentiak
guys.
and Funcracker for all of this, and the audience, of course. Thank you very much. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your interest.
Yep, so last remark I will make is that a recording, hopefully, if everything worked on Prometheus' side, it should be forthcoming somewhere in the next following couple of days. Yeah, thanks again, and I wish you a good morning, afternoon, or good night, depending on where you are. Till next one.